Hi, Wonderbread. Hey everyone, Kulprit, trying to get this done quick. D here. Danny Brown, old. Holy crap. Danny Brown is a Detroit rapper. He first got some popularity, I believe, around mid-late 2010. I know his mixtape or album, I'm not sure what it's called. YouTube calls it one thing, Wikipedia calls it another. Triple X or XXX, whatever it's called. I know that got a lot of play and hype and buzz when it came out. And I first heard Danny on the Double XL Freshman Cypher of 2012, and I just immediately shut Danny out and didn't go seek out any of his other stuff just based on that freestyle. And let me say that that is one of the biggest regrets in life that I have. Um, Danny is portrayed in hip hop as this crazy Jim Henson animal type character. And to me, that's only semi accurate because he runs the gamut on this album. Everything. I mean, different production styles, different flow, different lyrical content, different delivery. Um, there's so much. And Danny is crazy. Danny, to me, is like the Doodle Bob of hip hop. It's like Lil Wayne is SpongeBob, Earl Sweatshirt is Squidward, and then you have Gucci Mane, who's kind of like the Patrick. But then Danny is just kind of like Doodle Bob to me because he's like a caricature. But he's more than that, and this album proves that. And he has a handful of different producers. There aren't a ton of producers. Some rappers have a different producer for each track. But he has a little pool of different producers, such as Paul White, who is a UK-based hip-hop producer. There's also Skywalker, who is Detroit-based beat maker, and his productions are a little more electronic and techno dubsteppy. You also have A-Track. There's a producer named Rusty, who has some marching band type influences in the few beats he has on here with horns and marching snares and stuff like that. And then you've also got Oh No and A-Track. And there's a couple other things on here, as well as a collaboration with Bad Bad Not Good, the experimental Canadian jazz trio who worked with Earl Sweatshirt on Doors as well. One thing I'm pleased with hip-hop right now is it seems like a lot of artists have their ear to the underground, as well as underground from the old school, mid and late 90s. And there seems to be a renaissance of trying to find that underground sound and stuff. And so a lot of artists do have their ear to the underground, but it seems like Danny Brown has his ear to the underground a year and a half from now. I think old production wise is a little bit ahead of its time, and I know Danny also works with a lot of artists and producers over in the UK. In those circles in the UK, the rap scene over there, it has a lot more electronic techno-y feel. So he brings those influences in and just helps create this really different sounding album. This album just sticks out from anything else really that's come out in the past couple years. You have some more boom bap, old school, chill influence tracks on here like Torture, The Return, Side A, Old, Lonely. It's just and it's really incredible because these songs you just can't help but bob your head. Then you also have some more electronic techno dubstep influenced songs like 25 Bucks. There's a song called Dubstep on here which has a slightly dubsteppy feel. And then there's another song on here, Kush Coma, produced by Skywalker. So not only does Danny take so many different types of productions and sounds, but he changes up his flow and delivery so much to where a couple of these songs, like the song Side A and The Return, and then the very last track on here, Float On, with the Charlie XCX feature, where he doesn't even sound like Danny Brown, like the Danny Brown that I'm used to. I had to really go through and make sure when I was looking at the album credits that there wasn't a feature, because I thought, who is this? And then I looked and I saw it was Danny, and Danny can just really do whatever he wants, it seems. And the first half of the album is just a lot of introspectiveness and reflection on the past, and him saying he's going back to the old Danny Brown. That's what he needs to get back to, just that G-hood Danny that he used to be. And he talks about things that he saw as a kid and things that he did as a young adult and growing up. And what impresses me is when Danny is introspective, he's different from other rappers. A lot of rappers, when they try to tell you you know, things about their past, and be deep and introspective. They kind of do the same thing in every verse, and they just tell you their life story in each verse, but worded a different way. But Danny takes different things from his past and like takes one moment from his past and makes a whole song out of just that moment or a certain time in his life, and it's very cool to hear. Like on the song Wonderbread, which by the way, the instrumental, the only way I can describe this is if you dropped acid and then watched a 8mm film from the 60s of a Barnum and Bailey circus. That is literally the only way to describe this instrumental. But he talks about getting food stamps from his mom, going to buy Wonder Bread, and he's seeing junkies kill other junkies, and crack whores, and people holding weapons and things like that. And he just changes his voice and gets crazy with it, and I just want the bread, and it's so funny, and it's so cool, and it's so unique, and it's what makes it different from anything else that's out there right now. The second half seems to be more club-oriented, radio-driven songs. They have kind of a Kid Inky alumni type feel to them with some electronica influences in there, and a lot of them just sound like zanied out reject beats from Magna Carta Holy Grail by Jay-Z. And they're all kind of the same tempo as well. And honestly, I think if he would have changed the tempo up on a lot of these, then I would have liked the second half just as well as the first half, maybe. At least for the production, but they all stick around the same tempo and have similar bass lines. But even then, I can't complain because each instrumental is individually really cool. As far as flow goes, Danny's on point. There's a couple songs where he's not really saying anything differently from other rappers, like the song Kush Coma is just lyrically is your average, you know, smoking song that maybe Currency or Wiz Khalifa would do, but the way Danny delivers it and the production choice on it makes it stick out. Same thing with the song Dope Fiend Rental. It's really just a song about having sex, and Schoolboy Q feature on there, who kind of starting to sound like Kendrick a little bit. But just the way it's delivered and the package it's delivered in makes it stick out, and it makes you listen more, even though it's just kind of nonsense. There's a couple twerking songs on here which disappointed me, and one, they're back to back. There's twerking, and then the next song is called Handstand after Break It, and it's talking about all the same stuff in the previous song, just from the perspective of the girl doing the handstand. So, but you know, even still, Danny just can rap. He can rap, and there's no doubt about that. And there's times where he's just over the top and crazy animated, and it sounds like he's in some sort of cartoon on Adult Swim. And then there's other times where he's just calm and laid back, and he has this tone in his voice where like he's calm, but you know you don't want to mess with him. Like, he just sounds aggressive. And I recently heard Danny Brown in an interview say that sometimes when he's recording, he does mess up, and or he says the wrong word, or he does the wrong rhythm, but he likes to keep the mistake because he likes to keep the mood in there, and if he goes and redoes it, then it ruins the mood of the song. And you can hear that in a couple songs where he just barely catches himself to be off, or he stumbles over a word, but he keeps it, and I think that's pretty interesting. I don't think too many rappers are going to be willing to do that. I've done it a couple times, but I looking back, I regret it. But Danny doesn't, and Danny just seems to be a musical genius. You know, it makes me wonder how much more genius would he be had he not killed so many brain cells from all the drug-induced comas with Molly and Lord knows what else he's put himself in for the past however many years of his life. But overall, I think Old might be my favorite rap and hip-hop album of the year so far. I'm going to listen to Eminem's album when it comes out, but I've not always been the biggest Eminem fan. So I don't know. I think this is better than Doris. I think it's better than watching movies. I really like Wolf, but I think it might beat out Wolf in my opinion. So right now it's tied with Crooked Eye's Apex Predator for best or favorite rap album of the year in my opinion. So overall, Danny Brown's Old. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of a possible 5 loaves of Wonderbread. So if you've listened to the album, let me know what you think. Remember, everything in this video is an opinion. I'm not trying to state facts. If I got anything wrong, please let me know. I'm trying to do better research before I review things. Anything else, go to the channel. Thank you guys for watching.